The Indian Child Pride and the All Arab Husband by Dr. A. Ahmed. This narration continues the story The Arab Sugar Daddy and the Beautiful Indian Girl. It was written in English and translated into Arabic by Dr. Ahmed. It is a novel narrated in 6 books. Book 2, The Arab Sugar Daddy turns into The Grand Daddy the Devil. Copyright. All rights are reserved. No part of this book may be reproduced, stored, travel system, or transmitted in any form or by any means without the prior written permission of the author, except by the reviewer, who may quote brief passages from the review for printing in a general magazine, a school journal, or a university article. All characters in this novel are fictitious, and any resemblance to real people, live or dead, is purely coincidental. Chapter 16, The Irrevocable Verdict of the Sharia Court. The unsuccessful Islamic court trial about the validity of the marriage between the underage Indian child bride and the Saudi old man has given the CIA team incidental clues that they are looking into solving Rehana's problem. First of all, they got a copy of the medical certificate that Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed presented at the Sharia court to prove that his Pakistani chauffeur had been sexually castrated when he was in his country. When he was questioned by the police of Jeddah, the Pakistani doctor who issued the certificate claimed falsely that Sabir Abraham Shah came to his clinic and demanded a medical examination, and after that a medical certificate as proof that he was unique man had been given to him. Whatever might be the reason for its issue, that certificate would be critical Rehana's defense. It can be used to prove to the Sharia court that the second marriage of Rehana was based on deception and hence it was illegal before the Islamic Sharia law. It also can prove that a second mock marriage was never consummated because no sex was involved between Rehana and her so-called second husband. There is still the danger that the Sharia court might convict her of having an illegitimate child. The Americans learned that the medical pregnancy test showed that the Indian maidservant was a few weeks pregnant before she got married to the Pakistani driver who used to work as a chauffeur for her Saudi kafil. Based on the same medical report, none of the two teenage sons of Sheikh Ahmed, who blackmailed and raped her, could have fathered her child. Also, she was not impregnated by her first baby husband, the Bim Aslam Ali Khan, who kept her for a while in his apartment and conducted a mock marriage with her too. There must be another man who had sex with her before those 4 males. The 7 members of the CIA are inclined to believe Rehana's story. She was pregnant because she was raped by 2 Saudi police officers upon her arrival in Saudi Arabia. For that reason, the American CIA team decided to share for the loving Bedouin family that rescued Rehana's life when the 2 Saudi policemen brutally raped her and attempted to murder her and left her half dead, and after that they disappeared from her miserable life. That would convince the Islamic court that Rehana became pregnant through rape and not adultery. Accordingly, the American team employed 35 young Arab men and began their search around the outskirts of Jeddah city. Every member took 5 Arab men with him or her and began their meticulous searches. The search is difficult due to the huge number of Bedouin tents that encircle the cosmopolitan Saudi city like a rainbow around the sun. The team members know that if they do not find and present the Bedouin family before or at the retrial, Rehana Khan will be stoned to death. In their taking search, the CIA team members used some of Rehana's photos that they collected from the newspapers and magazines, which included articles about her simultaneous marriages. After 2 weeks of intensive searching, the Bedouin family had been found near a small suburb on the outskirts to the east of Jeddah city. The loving Bedouin parents identified Rehana's photo and narrated the entire story of her miraculous discovery and rescue. They began from the time they spotted the small foreign daughter walking in all alone on a lonely road, rough road. At first, they saw that she was a manifestation of a female satanic creature of a sort who came to attack them, disfigure their faces, and transfer them into black demons or scary jinnis. Therefore, they decided to beat her up and kill her. If they could not slay her, they should at least chase her away if she came to their tents. But the wise wife told her brave husband to read from the gracious Holy Quran the verse of the throne, verse from Surah Al-Baqarah 2, verse 255, before you could attack the little female creature and kill her. Then the Bedouin woman told her husband that if the little female creature would not disappear after hearing the verse of the throne, then he should not attack and kill her. In that way, the Bedouin man said he came to know the female creature was a human being like him because she did not vanish after he loudly read thrice the verse of the throne from the Holy Quran. After that, the Bedouins narrated how the little girl directed them to the place where her mother lay half dead in the desert. When they reached her, they found the mother was mortally wounded and naked because her rapist had torn her dress into bits and pieces. There were blood clots all over her body and clothes. They carried her on their shoulder and brought her to their tents. They found her body was full of cuts and bruises. The wise Bedouin woman narrated how she used Dettol and hot water to treat the wounds of her foreign patient. Then she used milk and cold water to revive her. Whatever the loving Bedouins have said has been videotaped by the American CIA team. The Bedouins mentioned that Rehana and her daughter Ifat spent 1 month with them. After 1 month, the foreign mother requested the Bedouin man to take her to the city. Then the Bedouins said that they took the mother and her daughter on donkeys and camel and rode them to the nearest suburb and left them in front of a shop in a supermarket. The last time they saw their uninvited guests was in the place they left them, both standing in. The statements of the Bedouin family are considered by the American CIA team as concrete good evidence that Rehana was kidnapped, beaten, raped. Howbeit, the Bedouins said they did not see who raped her and attempted to murder her. The Sharia court might accept the witness of the Bedouin family about the kidnap and murder attempt, but it might reject the claim that Rehana was raped and subsequently impregnated by one of her rapists. To solidify their case, the CIA team tried to confirm that the two Saudi policemen who took Rehana from the Jeddah International Airport were the ones who had kidnapped, raped, and attempted to kill her. If that missing piece of information is established, then the two culprit police officers will be found and punished. The American CIA team went to the Saudi Airlines main office and demanded to know what had happened to the two Indian female passengers who managed to enter the Saudi plane and travel from Bombay to Jeddah without their passports. The airline office found the report of the Saudi plane that brought Rehana and her daughter Ifat from Bombay to Jeddah. The report showed that two Indian female passengers by the names of Rehana Khan and Ifat Khan had boarded the Saudi plane without their Indian passports. It also mentioned that the two female passengers were handed over to the Jeddah International Airport police. Based on the report of the American CIA team approached the Jeddah International Airport and confirmed the arrest of the two Indian female passengers who arrived from Bombay without their passports. The team got an official copy of Jeddah International Airport and added it to its files. Then the team approached the Jeddah International Airport police and demanded to know what they did with the two arrested Indian female aliens who arrived without their passport. The airport police confirmed the arrest of the two Indian female passengers, and then it gave the names of the two Saudi police officers who came and took the Indian woman and her daughter to Jeddah Women's Jail. Before informing the police authority about the two police men who raped Rehana and dumped her unconscious body in the desert, the American CIA team decided to confirm that the two arrested Indian female passengers were not taken to the Jeddah Women's Jail. After collating evidence from the three sources, the Saudi airline, the Jeddah International Airport, and the airport police, the CIA team approached the women's central prison and confirmed that the two arrested Indian passengers who arrived in country without passport had never been received as two foreign female inmates. Once more, the American team did not approach the Jeddah police to demand the arrest of the two Saudi policemen. Prudently, the team has submitted the results of their investigation to the royal family. It is to the royals that they made their demand that the two Saudi policemen should be arrested and a DNA paternity test be conducted on them and the so-called Walad Haram, or an illegitimate child of the imprisoned Indian woman, Rehana Khan. Although the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia usually would not use a DNA test in deciding over adultery and other immoral crimes, still the royal family issued a decree for the detention of the two policemen and gave their consent for the DNA paternity test. At once, a special medical team has been brought from the UK to conduct the DNA test. The results of the paternity test confirmed that one of the two policemen had fathered the boy of Rehana Khan. Confronted with overwhelming and undeniable evidence, the two Saudi policemen confessed that they had kidnapped and raped the Indian woman on her arrival in Jeddah and had left her and her daughter in the desert and returned to the city. During their interrogation, they tried to justify their evil acts by claiming Farid, the beautiful and sexy young Indian woman, had tempted them with her exposed hair, face, shoulder, thighs, and big backside because she was a Muslimah not wearing hijab, abaya and niqab, or a burqa. Then they said she told them to have sex with her as a sexual bribe and then to release and allow her to be with her Indian boyfriend. Lastly, they said she deceived them by saying she and her daughter wanted to go and pee in a woman's public washroom in a supermarket, and then they jumped out of the window and fled. However, whatever they have said and claimed has not been accepted by their interrogators. And through the police torture, they confess their hideous crimes and narrated them from A to Z. As soon as the two culprits confessed their crimes and the DNA tests, paternity tests proved that the Indian maidservant had been raped, the royal had been raped and impregnated, the royal family issued a second decree and cancelled the scheduled retrial of Rehana Khan in a court. The decree ordered the immediate release of the Indian woman with her head held up high in honor. Additionally, the king of Saudi Arabia decreed that the Indian maidservant Rehana Khan should be compensated with a sum of 3,800,000 Saudi riyals. When this story took place, $1 equals 3.8 Saudi riyals. It is a huge amount of money, equivalent to $1 million. In the Indian currency unit, that amount is called 7 crores, which equals to 70 million Indian rupees. If the poor Indian maidservant Rehana Khan had worked for 1,000 years as a maidservant in India, she would not have made 1% of that huge amount of money. Even if her former Saudi kafil or employer, Sheikh Ahmed, had employed her as a maidservant for 100 years, she would not make 10% of what the Saudi government had given her as compensation for the evils that have been done to her during those 3 years of her incarceration in a scary, dark dungeon in the kingdom of Tartarus. Although she is released with honor and her life is snatched at the right time by the American team from the jaws of death and stoning and paid a huge amount of money in compensation, still Rehana's heart is full of sorrow and frustration. She has become devastated, and her heart has been broken when she came to know that her little daughter Ifat was forced into marrying the old Saudi man who had impregnated her while she was only 10 years old. She cried and begged the royal family to intervene and release her small daughter from the old master, but her tears and bleedings fell on stony hearts. She is told that no power or authority on earth could release her daughter from her lawful Saudi husband except if he is willing to agree to divorce her without coercion. This is because the decision of the Sharia court is based on the sacred Muslim scripture, the Holy Quran, and the hadiths and married life of the Prophet Muhammad, who married his child bride Aisha when she was 6 and consummated the marriage with her when she was 9. Therefore, the decision of the Sharia court is irrevocable, and every mortal human being who tries to change it will commit unpardonable blasphemy, exit from the Islamic community, and become an apostate from Islam who deserve to be killed and land in hellfire and burned for eternity with the accursed Satan, Iblis, his demons, and the unclean infidels. Besides, by this time, the Saudi old man, the notorious womanizer and pedophile, had already taken his underage pregnant Indian child bride and migrated to the Islamic Republic of Iran and settled in its capital, Tehran, and therefore no power on earth could reach him and separate him from his so-called lawful child wife again. As consequences of this immature ending of their investigation, the 7 members of the CIA team have understood that they have not completed their mission successfully. They could not convince the Sharia court that Sheikh Fayed bin Ahmed had killed the late American female human rights activist Shama Abdel Bari Ahmed, the wife of the son of the U.S. Congress Senator Alexander Thomas. The entire blame for her brutal murder has come to the head of the so-called foreign drunk driver, a Somali young man Abdel Gadir Ibrahim Saleh, has been tried by the Sharia court of Jeddah and condemned and ordered to be executed for causing the death of an American female citizen while drinking and driving. Therefore, his name has been added to the death row of those condemned who were awaiting their turn to be beheaded. Moreover, the American CIA members also could not be able to invalidate the Islamic marriage contract of the 73-year-old Saudi man and the little underage Indian girl Iffat Khan, who was then 11 years old and pregnant. They failed to force the Islamic court to convict Sheikh Ahmed of kidnapping, raping, and imprisoning a minor female child. Once again, the entire blame has fallen on the head of the despicable Pakistani driver Sabir Ibrahim Shah, had been condemned as a false testified witness and given 80 lashes. And after his corporeal punishment, he had been deported to his country and his name blacklisted. Even so, the 7 members of the CIA felt that they had achieved a considerable victory by stopping the stoning of an innocent Indian woman from the slums of Bombay. Shortly after her release from the bottomless pit of the Saudis, Rehana Khan boarded an Air Indian plane and flew back to her motherland. On the same day, the 7 members of the American CIA team boarded their plane and began their trip to the land of Uncle Sam. They felt as if they were flying away from a backward 7th century Muslim society in the Sahara Desert of Arabia to an advanced and free society within the greatest country of the 21st century, the United States of America. Chapter 17. The sad return of the released Indian maidservant. Rehana Khan arrived at the Mumbai Chhatrapati Shivaji International Airport at 11:45 a.m. according to the local time. When she left India over 3 years ago, the city was called Bombay and its international airport was known as the Sahara International Airport. In her absence, the Shiv Sena Hindu political party had changed the name of every street and every local train station in the city. Even the city did not escape that radical religious change. Also, the 1.5 century old Bombay University had been changed to Mumbai University. The University of Bombay was established in 1857. The only thing that the Hindu party could not achieve yet is changing the name of the country from India to Hindustan. The Shiv Sena is a political party affiliated with the National Hindu Party known as Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP. That country in Hindi is called Bharat, but the British colonists changed it to India. I wish God would help the National Hindu Party in changing the name of the country to Hindustan or Bharat. 150 million Muslims are living in India, and yet they are more loyal to Pakistan than India. Still, they are counted as a minority group because Hindus are over 850 million. Most of the Indian Muslims are not loyal to their motherland, but they are patriots to Pakistan, which is the bitterest enemy of India. They always cheer for the Pakistani cricket team and celebrate and rejoice openly through fireworks whenever that Islamic team defeats the Indian cricket team. I wonder how a person can live in a country but support another country, one that is considered India's bitterest enemy. This problem is not only confined to the Muslims of India, but we notice it in many Western countries such as France, Spain, Germany, Italy, Netherlands, Belgium, the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, and the United States of America. Many Muslims born in those countries and those who obtain citizenship do not integrate into mainstream society and hate their new country. They direct their hatred at a country that gives them good living and social liberties not available in their previous countries, and sometimes help blot out terrorist attacks against innocent citizens of their adopted nation. Suffice it to say that Rehana Khan left her country with her little girl Iffat Khan and returned with her small baby boy Irfan Khan. She boarded a Saudi plane as one of the poorest slum women and returned to it by an Indian plane among one of the richest women in her city. Despite all, she is miserable and feels like a failed female soldier who returned to her country defeated and disgraced. The suffering, torture, and abuse she experienced in the so-called holiest land of Muslims left permanent painful scars in her heart, mind, and body that no amount of apology and money could erase or soothe. She is feeling depressed, despair, and suicidal for what the wicked old man had done to her only daughter, and he is still doing to her small female child Iffat. She hates him with passion and curses the day she met him at the gate of India in Kulaba. She regretted that she believed him and took her small daughter with her and traveled to his accursed and unholy country. Before she left Saudi Arabia, Rihanna was invited by the CIA team to migrate to the USA and start a new life among civilized and loving people. Nevertheless, she thanked them and decided to return to India for the sake of her mother, her old mother, and 5 little sons. Even so, the head of the CIA team gave her his card and promised to help her to migrate to his country anytime she wished to do so. What she is supposed to do is to give him a phone call and he would arrange her immigration along with her female family members to the USA as a resettled refugees. Rihanna knows she left her poor family with money that she expected would not last more than a year. More than 3 years passed since she took her only daughter and traveled to the rich land of the Arabs. She has no idea how her old mother could have fed her 5 children with the money that she had given her. Rihanna is so scared to go back to her former hut in the slum of Darabi, where she left her poor family. She's afraid that she may find her old mother has died and her sons became beggars on the streets or starved to death. She knows that she has not kept her promise to them. She told her old mother that she would send her money every month as soon as she started working in the holy city where the black Kaaba, where the black sacred Kaaba or the house of Allah and the shrine of the Holy Prophet Muhammad. Her mother sang her God Allah 1,000 times when she came to know that her daughter was traveling to the rich Arab country where there is the sacred shrine of the Prophet Muhammad and the house of Allah. Rehana promised her mother that she would return to her country after 2 years with so much money and take her to visit the Holy Lands, Mecca and Medina in Saudi Arabia, and fulfill the feast pillar of Islam, the Hajj rituals, which is the heart desire of every Muslim man and Muslim woman in the subcontinent for the Muslim Pakistanis, Bangladeshis, and Indians. Before she traveled to the promised land, the land that flows with milk and honey, and the money is scattered in its streets, just like the garbage is scattered everywhere in Bombay City, the blessed and unlucky daughter Rehan had disclosed to her dear old mother her secret hidden treasure, underground treasure, and told her to use the money inside her underground bank for buying food and clothes for her 5 grandsons. But sadly, most of that hidden money had been stolen from the old grandmother by her little grandchildren. Whenever the old grandmother fell asleep, some of those naughty sons would get up and open the underground bank and steal some paper currency and use it to buy food from the moving vendors or buy candies from small shops. Therefore, the money finished in less than 6 months. At any rate, the imprisoned and miraculously released Indian female prisoner Rehana Khan took a taxi from the Mumbai International Airport to the Dharavi slum area. Her heart is beating faster and louder as every second passed by. She fell inside the taxi as if her heart might jump out of her mouth at any moment. She began to sweat and shake when the taxi reached Dharavi slums. She does not recognize the place. Instead of dirty and foul-smelling huts, a 15-story building greeted her. Her mind had become confused and her heart become exceedingly frightened. At first, she saw that the long period she spent in Jeddah's jail had somehow twisted her memory. Approaching the nearest shop, she asked about her hut in Dharavi. The shopkeeper told her that where she was standing was part of Dharavi hut, but a wealthy businessman had bought the place she was inquiring about. Then he constructed a huge 15-story building in its place. When she asked him what happened to those miserable people who used to live stuffed over there like sardines in tins or eggs squashed in small boxes, he told her that the wealthy Indian man gave some of those poor people apartments on the first floor, and some he gave a few thousand of rupees and sent them away. However, those who rejected his offer and refused to leave faced dire consequences. The rich man used some thugs of the dreadful Gundas and also bribed a few corrupt police officers and kicked them away. Some of the stubborn poor people got beaten to death by those ruthless Indian gangsters. The information gave Rehana some ray of hope. She wished that her old mother got an apartment and some money from the wealthy Indian man and used it to care for her poor family. With that hope, she left the shop and went to that tall building and began to inquire about her family. She found a few people who used to live near her small hut. From them, she got conflicting information about her family. One woman told Rehana that her old mother died in the hut before the builder had constructed it, his 15-story building. After the death of the old mother, the workers of the government of Bombay took away her dead body and burned it into ashes. Another woman confirmed the death of her old mother, but said her 5 children ran away from the slum and became beggars. One man also confirmed the death of the old mother and described how she died. He said that her aged mother became so bored that her body was emaciated and decrepit like a skeleton. When her mother became destitute, her grandchildren forsook her and ran away and disappeared. They had never returned. She died shortly thereafter from starvation. Her body was found dead in the hut after 3 days, when it decomposed and began to spread a foul odor. No Muslim man or a Muslim woman in the slum area was willing to take the decomposing body of her Muslim mother and bury it in the Muslim graveyards. Therefore, it was taken away by the government workers and burned it as if she was a Hindu woman. Rehana listened to the horrifying story of the death of her mother with tears falling from her eyes like hot acid. She prostrated on the ground and began to cry like a mother who suddenly lost all her 6 sons. She wailed and bewailed until she lost her voice. She regretted that she left her poor mother and let her die in that horrific way. She hated herself and hated the day she was born. She began to slap her cheeks and bunch her body as if she were a mad woman. Her screaming and hysterical action made many people and children cluster around her. As she went on and on in her hysteria, the crowd called the police. The cops shouted at her and told her if she did not go away, they would arrest her and send her to either jail or a mental hospital. Due to the fear of the cops, the sorrowful woman stood up and began to drag her feet and walk away from the place of her former poor hut. After overcoming her grief, Rehana decided to search for her 5 sons in every nook and corner of the cosmopolitan city of Mumbai. She wants to find them and pick them up from the streets, hug them, and give them the love that she denied them for 3 years. She carried her baby boy, Irfan Khan, and went and booked a room in a cheap motel. She told the front desk that she came from Pakistan to visit some of her relatives in Bombay. She said further that she could not stay in their hut because it is small and her Muslim relatives have so many children. She decided not to tell anyone about what had happened to her in Saudi Arabia. She disguised herself and hid her true identity. She put on a black burqa and hid even her face, scared that if the evil Bombay gangsters, the Gundas, came to know she is the Indian woman who received 70 million Indian rupees from the government of Saudi Arabia, they might kidnap her and blackmail her until they got all her money. Although she had deposited her money in a foreign bank, still she scared that the Indian thugs might threaten to murder her if she refused to give them all her millions of rupees. So the first thing Rehana wanted to achieve was to find her missing 5 children. She has changed her mind about immigrating immediately to America. He thought she would find her mother and 5 sons and immigrated with them to the USA. The CIA team had promised to assist her anytime she would like to move to their country. She accepted their offer but told them she would like to return to her country first and then she would contact them as soon as she found her family. In search for her dear ones, Rehana Khan did not leave a stone unturned. He spent 3 months in a cheap motel in the Santa Cruz area. In her room, she is weeping day and night for her mother and missing sons. He searched it in many slum areas, but did not find her sons. She also searched everywhere, every local train station and every street in Bombay, without finding her missing children. She went to Churchgate and Colaba areas where there were thousands of small beggars, but she could not find her children among them. She went to the crowded train terminals such as VT Station and Bombay Central Station many times, but could not find her progeny. It is as if the earth has opened up and swallowed them. During her search, she spent so much money on policemen, gundas, and other helpers, but to no avail. Chapter 18. Looking for the missing lover. It was when she lost all hope in finding her 5 missing sons that the sad Indian woman Rehana Khan remembered her lover, the handsome Jamal Khan. She hopes that she can at least find among her missing dear ones her lover. Then they can get married and immigrate together to the USA as a handsome Muslim husband and his beloved Muslima wife. To achieve such a difficult goal, the former poor Indian maid servant stopped searching for her missing 5 children and began to search for her lover. Fortunately, this time her search did not take long. Her millions of rupees could make her find a needle in a haystack in that big Indian cosmopolitan city where there are 19 million people. She bribed some top Indian Muslim police officers and hence employed them to help her find her missing husband Jamal Khan. He said her Muslim husband had mysteriously disappeared from her life and she does not know where he is living now. The hiding place of her missing husband has been discovered in less than a month. Some of those Muslim police officers have brought to her another devastating news that made her trouble conscious, bleeding heart bleed more. She learned from them that Jamal Khan is serving a long sentence at the Thana prison for rape and robbery. According to the information, her Muslim husband Jamal Khan met to rape a young Muslim girl pregnant who used to work with him in downtown Bombay in the Muhammad Khan Tours and Travel Agency. He is also behind the suicide of the same pretty young girl who is called Bulbula Sheikh. The late Bulbula killed herself when everybody in her Muslim-dominated area hated her and called her a filthy whore. No one was ready to believe she got raped. Because of those hideous crimes, Jamal Khan had been tried and condemned by the Bombay Criminal Court and sentenced to 14 years imprisonment under hard labor. For that reason, the police officers told her they could not get him out of the dungeon until her husband finished his long jail term. Rihanna vehemently refused to believe that the loving and honest Muslim young boy Jamal Khan could commit such a terrible crimes. She remembered that she sat with him many times at the seashore of the Marine Drive and tempted him in every possible way. If he is that kind of a man, he would have taken her to a motel and had sex with her many times. Instead, Jamal did nothing to her except hug her body, fondle her breast, and kiss her on her lips. Discovering the bliss of her lover, Rihanna, like someone has found an oasis in a desert full of coffins of her dead relatives. Although the jail might be just a mirage and she might never get him out, still the thirsty girlfriend is like a drowning person who is prepared to hold onto a straw if that could give her hope in her hopeless situation. She has lost every dear relative in her life except her lover Jamal. Therefore, when she came to know where her handsome lover was imprisoned, the beautiful Rihanna traveled from her small hotel in Santa Cruz area by 2 local trains, 1 bus, and 1 auto rickshaw to reach Tana prison, where her lover is kept for 3 years. It cost her a lot of money and took her a long time to travel from Santa Cruz to Tana. She left her hotel at 8:30 a.m. and reached the prison at 2:45 p.m. She bought so much food and cold drinks for her imprisoned lover. The men's prison in India is a million times more than the women's prison in which she had been unjustly jailed in Saudi Arabia for 35 months. Jamal Khan could not believe his eyes when he saw his beautiful, beloved girlfriend Rihanna Khan had come after many years to visit him. From the day he got arrested inside the travel agency, no one had come to visit him. Even his beloved sister Nafisa Khan had believed the lies of his former wicked boss Muhammad Saitan Khan and boycotted her brother. Although his beloved girlfriend Rihanna has lost half of her weight and most of her beauty faded away, still her boyfriend Jamal has recognized her. Rihanna is scared to tell him about what happened to her in Saudi Arabia. She expected that her conversation with him might be recorded by the jail authority. She told him that she went to Saudi Arabia and worked as a maid servant for 3 years and returned home for good. Her lover remembered that he was the one who began preparing her travel papers. He thanked his God Allah for giving his beloved girlfriend his grace and success and leading her to go to the rich country of the Arabs for a good job. Rihanna has not brought her baby boy Irfan Khan with her. She does not want her lover Jamal to think that she left him and married another man in an Arab country that is full of sex deviants. She hired a babysitter and kept her baby Irfan Khan with her. Jamal narrated his story to his beloved Rihanna in hot tears. Rihanna wept bitterly when she learned that her innocent lover had been falsely accused of those ugly crimes and sentenced to 14 years of confinement in the filthiest prison in the world under hard labor. She knows firsthand how any person would feel when falsely accused and condemned for a crime that he had not committed. She recollected it the day when she was dragged like an animal or a notorious female criminal from her Saudi sponsor's house and thrown behind bars. She cried and begged for her freedom, but no one gave heed to her tears. For 3 years, she wept day and night in her solitary confinement and waited with bleeding heart for her cruel execution through stoning for no crime she had done. So she understood that her lover Jamal had gone and is still going through the same pain and suffering. She wished that she could find honest and sincere and caring people like those 7 Americans CIA teams who did not leave a stone unturned to free her from the dungeon of the wicked Arabs who tortured her and sentenced her to be stoned to death for no crime she had done. She knows that her country is full of corrupt and evil lawmen. Working within the system, Rihanna has decided to find a Muslim lawyer to reopen the case of her boyfriend and push for a retrial. She told her lover that she is going to appoint a good Muslim lawyer and request him to apply for a retrial. Jamal told his girlfriend not to waste her money on a retrial that might not succeed. He too knows the corrupted judicial system of his country intimately. Rihanna bade her lover no heed and affirmed that she would not allow him to spend another 11 years in jail for crime that she knew he had not committed. She has determined, even if she has to spend all her $1 million on lawyers and judges, she's not going to leave her innocent lover in prison any longer, in the most dangerous and filthiest prison in the whole world. That decision has been firmly taken. Rihanna decided to move from the motel to a rented apartment. She understood that the retrial of her lover might take many months. She went to Bandara area and rented an apartment in a beautiful place. The apartment is in a tall building located in a rich area called Bandstand. It has many security guards. The building has an elevator. Her apartment is on the 17th floor. When she entered her spacious room, tears fell like hot acid on her cheeks when she remembered the small hut they used to live in, like stuffed sardines in a tiny tin, or eggs squashed in a small box, with her 6 children, her parents, and also the father and the mother of her late husband. The rich Indian woman, Rihanna Khan, hired a babysitter and 3 maidservants to work for her. She employed a babysitter, a washerwoman, a cleaner, and a female cook. She remembered how she worked as a slave in rich people's houses before she went to the rich land of the Arabs. In those days, she used to work from 6 o'clock in the morning until 9 o'clock at night. She worked 7 days a week. She used to get only 300 rupees in a month. Even the slave might not work every day without a single day of break. Consequently, the kind Rihanna decided not to enslave the poor girls she employed. She paid for them very well. She did not force them to work for her for more than 8 hours in the day. She remembered she used to work 15 hours per day without getting paid overtime hours. She invited her maidservant to eat in her apartment while they were working for her. She allowed them to use her washroom. She remembered how the rich people she worked for did not allow her to use their toilets while she was working in their houses. Whenever she felt the need to go to the toilet, she used to go to the public washroom in the local train stations. Rihanna also bought beautiful uniforms for her maid servants and gave them some of her beautiful spare clothes. It should come as no surprise that her maid servants love her so much. They told her that no rich Indian woman would treat her maid servants the way she is treating them. Rihanna did not tell her female workers that she was a maid servant like them before. She told them that she came from Pakistan to visit her Indian husband who's in jail in Bombay. Rihanna Khan retained a Muslim lawyer and discussed the case of her imprisoned lover with him. She told him that she was certain that her boyfriend was innocent. She asked him to apply for a retrial. The Muslim lawyer accepted the case and promised to do his level best to get the case tried again. But he did not give her any false hope or make big promises. A week passed when the lawyer phoned her again and told her the court agreed to the retrial. He ended the conversation by asking her to come to his office near Bandara Court's main building because he wanted it to discuss with her some important matters that he would rather not discuss over the phone for privacy and confidentiality. When they met up, the Muslim lawyer explained that the evidence against her lover is overwhelming and undeniable, and therefore no advocate in Bombay would be able to disprove them. Nevertheless, if she would agree to pay money by the nose to him and the main judge, the charges against her lover would be dropped. Rihanna agreed to pay the money, but with a condition attached. She said that she would pay only 10% of the bribes before the retrial, and the remaining amount she would pay after her lover was released in honor. The Muslim lawyer told her that he had to talk to the main Hindu judge before he would accept her condition. After another couple of weeks, the Muslim lawyer found his valuable female client Rihanna Khan again in her cell phone and asked her to come to his office to discuss an important confidential matter. When she reached his office, he said to her that the main judge wanted her to pay 25% of the amount before the retrial and 75% after her boyfriend was released in honor, was freed in honor. Rihanna accepted the counter offer without any further negotiation. According to the new deal, she has to pay 100,000 rupees to the main judge, 100,000 rupees to the lawyer before the retrial, and 300,000 Indian rupees for each one after the imprisoned lover is set free. So the total amount of the bribe is 800,000 rupees, which is equivalent to a little over 11,000 American dollars. It would be divided equally between the Muslim lawyer and the Hindu judge. The faithful, beloved girlfriend Rihanna Khan gladly paid the first installments and eagerly waited for another 6 months before the unjustly incarcerated handsome lover reappeared before His Majesty Judge Ram Barasat at the Charchgate High Court. During the retrial of the convict Jamal Khan, the clever Muslim lawyer Surajuddin Sharafuddin, by hook or by crook, could be able to somehow refute all the pieces of evidence against the condemned lover. First of all, the smart lawyer brought a young Muslim boy into the courtroom and made him to swear under oath by placing his right hand on his Holy Quran that he was the former boyfriend of the late girl Bulbula Sheikh. The boy has bought some fake love letters and claimed that he received them from his late beautiful girlfriend before she went to her God Allah through an intended suicidal death or a self-honor killing. In one of the letters, Bulbula informed her Muslim boyfriend that she was impregnated by him and asked him to marry her immediately. The boy admitted that he had sex with his ex-girlfriend Bulbula Sheikh many times before she killed herself without using a condom. In another love letter, Bulbula has written that she was going to burn her body if he did not marry her before her strict Muslim family found out about her disgraceful pregnancy and kill her for bringing disgrace to them. The Muslim lad is an excellent actor and cries before His Majesty the main Judge Ram Barasat, the Muslim lawyer Sirajuddin Sharafuddin, and the audience while he is reading the last sad love letter that his beloved girlfriend Bulbula Sheikh supposedly had written and sent to him before she had committed suicide. He said that due to his poverty and lack of work, his poor Muslim parents did not allow him to marry his pregnant girlfriend. In keeping with his acting role, the boy wept and wept until he made everyone in the courtroom weep with him, none more than both the judge and the lawyer who know the truth and shed crocodile tears. At the end of the sad love saga, the boy admitted to the court that he was the one who unintentionally made his girlfriend Bulbula Sheikh pregnant with an illegitimate baby and led her to commit suicide. The poor Muslim boy received 10,000 rupees before he appeared in court and promised to get another 10,000 rupees after the retrial was over. Of course, the rich Umar Rehana Khan was made to pay the first installment of the bribe to the boy and promised to pay the rest of the money to him after the retrial was successful and her handsome lover is set free. At the end of this sad romantic drama of Romeo and Juliet, some of the audience praised the fake lover for his honesty, and some zealots cursed him for causing the death of a pretty young Indian girl who burned her body because he made her pregnant without the sanctity of the halal Islamic marriage bond. Thank God, no one has attacked Romeo or tried to kill him. After the trial is over, the clever Muslim lawyer, Mr. Sirajuddin, anticipated something like that might happen to his small hero. The clever Muslim lawyer, Mr. Sirajuddin, anticipated something like that might happen to his small hero. Therefore, he had bribed some policemen and made them protect the fake lover after the trial was over. He knew it was no uncommon occurrence for criminals to get killed inside courtrooms in India. Anyhow, after destroying the false rape charge and suicidal death of the late beautiful girl Bulbul Sheikh against the innocent convict Jamal Khan, the clever Muslim lawyer Mr. Sirajuddin Sharafuddin began to dismantle the robbery charge. He produced enough evidence which indicate that the late girl Bulbul Sheikh came from an extremely poor Muslim family in Mumbura town. She used to live in a hut in Mumbai, in Mumbura, which is a Muslim poor slum area. She worked in the Muhammad Khan's tours and travels agency for a few months before taking off her life. She used to receive a monthly salary of 3,000 rupees. Then he argued that it would be impossible for a poor girl like the late Bulbula in a short time to make so much money and buy jewelry for 200,000 Indian rupees unless she had robbed them from someone or her workplace. Accordingly, the clever Muslim lawyer contended that if the convicted boy Jamal Khan had robbed and raped Bulbul Sheikh, why she did not inform the police immediately after she got robbed and brutally raped? Why did she wait until she got impregnated? Why did she kill herself for a crime that she had not committed? It was her employer, Mr. Muhammad Khan, who made the complaint to the police and not her. After dismantling the robbery and rape charges of the late Bulbula, the lawyer, Mr. Sirajuddin, began to deal with the charge of theft. According to the complaint of his former employer, Mr. Muhammad Khan, after raping and robbing Bulbula, Jamal had stolen 300,000 rupees from the Muhammad Khan's tour and travel agency. The lawyer argued during the former trial that the conviction had not been backed by any substantial evidence. There were no fingerprints taken by the police or any picture of the broken safe supplied by the employer. The employer did not even inform the police at the time he was supposed to have discovered the robbery. Jamal Khan was arrested after a long time from the time the alleged rape and theft took place. By the way, the court could not bring in the employer, Muhammad Khan, because by that time he lost his mind and he was in chains in a cell at a dirty mental host asylum. After the tragedy of that Black Sunday, the wicked boss remained in the hospital for a few days, lost his mind, became a dangerous madman, and began to attack anyone who came near him until they chained him to his bed. Shortly, he was declared a dangerous lunatic man, put in chains and fetters, and transferred to a mental hospital for dangerous lunatics. At our skirts of Bombay, at present, his fingernails have grown long like a caveman. He lost his long beard. His bald head is full of scars, and his clothes are always filthy because he urinates and defecates in them. Therefore, none of the staff of the mental hospital would like to come close to him because his body smells like a decomposed dead carcass of an animal, and his cell as filthy as hell. Once in a day, someone throws to him through the high window some leftover food and a small bottle of unwholesome water. His wife, sons, and daughters stop visiting him. Even his Hindu girlfriend, Sangeeta Desia, has forsaken him and found another boyfriend. The retribution from God on him is so great that no one would believe or recognize this is the same rich, proud, arrogant, and evil Muslim boss, Mr. Muhammad Khan. When Jamal Khan was tried and convicted over 3 years ago, he had no defense lawyer. His wicked employer, Mr. Muhammad Khan, used a very cunning Muslim lawyer and managed to nail him with all those hideous crimes which he had done none of them. At the end of the retrial, the Hindu judge, Mr. Ram Barasat, dropped all the charges against Jamal Khan and ordered that he should be immediately released with honor. Instead of rejoicing, Rehana Khan fell on her knees and began to weep. It was her handsome lover, Jamal Khan, who came and carried her from the floor and hugged her until the tears in her eyes stopped falling. A month later, the real and eternal lovers, Jamal Khan and Rehana Khan, got married in a Bandera marriage and divorce court. Looking ahead to the life of the wonderfully united in a lawful matrimonial union, after 6 months, the intimate lovers, Rehana and Jamal, immigrated to the United States of America. The beautiful young Indian woman, Rehana Khan, was 3 months pregnant when she flew with her handsome husband, Jamal Khan, and her cute son, Irfan Khan. This time, she has not become pregnant through rape, but by the handsome lover with who she has decided to spend the rest of her life with him in their new world among wonderful people in the most advanced country in the world, the land that produced the heroes of freedom, Martin Luther King and Abraham Lincoln, which is proudly called the United States of America, where the Statue of Liberty stands in the shore of New York. Chapter 19. Over 7 years later, as soon as the Jeddah Sharia court ruled in his favor, the old Saudi man took his small Indian child bride, immigrated to the Islamic Republic of Iran, and settled there. Iffat Khan was 3 months pregnant when she had been taken to another Muslim country. As he did in Asmara, the wealthy Arab business tycoon bought a house in Tehran city and kept his child bride imprisoned within its 4 walls. He hired 3 Iranian maidservants and 1 security guard. That security guard is an Afghani man licensed to carry a rifle. He is a retired Taliban terrorist in his late 60s, but is still a very tough and dangerous man. He has no qualms about shooting anyone who may break in and try to free the imprisoned child bride. He sleeps a few hours during the day and remains awake throughout the night. The 3 Iranian women save Iffat Khan around the clock. They have a huge room which they use as a dormitory to sleep in, and if any of them wants to visit her family, she gets only 1 day off each fortnight. The Indian underage wife is not allowed to do any work. Her only duty is to use the bathroom and take a bath. She is not permitted to step out of the house boundary under any circumstances. If she falls sick, one of the maidservants will call a nurse to treat her. If her illness is serious, an Iranian female doctor will be called in to diagnose her and treat her for her specific illness. Whatever may happen to her, she is not allowed to step a foot outside of her highly guarded castle. She is like Beauty and the Beast. She has been imprisoned by the ugly monster in his fortified castle. When Iffat delivered her first baby, she was 12 years old. The old man called in an Iranian midwife for the delivery. The midwife found it difficult to guide the underage wife through normal delivery. She was afraid that the small girl might die. She also expected that the underage wife, due to her small body, might need a cesarean operation and strongly advised the old man to send his wife to the hospital. He refused, saying that he would never allow any man to see the nakedness of his wife. Therefore, the underage wife Iffat had almost died before the midwife managed to ease the baby out of her womb. Unfortunately, the infant baby girl died shortly after it was born. After that, the old man made his underage Indian wife use birth control pills to prevent his child bride from getting pregnant again. He is afraid that if she conceives again, she might die for sure. His main concern is to enjoy her beauty and sexy body that has warmed his heart so deeply and renewed his old age. Sheikh Ahmed has by this time totally neglected his other three Saudi Muslim wives and spent most of his time in Tehran with lovely underage Indian child wife. Each one of his three Arab wives is more ugly than the other. He began to do most of his business in Tehran. He traveled once every 2 or 3 months to Saudi Arabia and spent a few weeks over there. Sometimes he traveled to other Asian and Arab countries and did his business over there too. His business flourished in Iran and he became quite wealthy. He spent a lot of money on his favorite child bride. He's treating his underage Indian wife Iffat the same way his Prophet Muhammad used to treat his child bride Aisha. He bought her tens of dresses and adorned her with exquisite and expensive jewels that he bought on his many travels abroad. He went out of his usual way and built a swimming pool for her inside his huge mansion, and then he hired a young Iranian woman to teach Iffat to swim. Once his child wife had learned how to swim, the old man began to sit by the pool on an armchair and watch her swimming in her sexy bikini. He also purchased very costly jewelry, video games, and dolls for her. The old Arab man modified his former practice with her and began to allow her to watch Indian movies. When they were in Asmara, Eritrea, and when she was between the ages of 9 and 11, he used to force her to watch pornographic movies with him and then force her to do to him what she saw in those dirty porn videos. He continued this practice with her in Tehran but began to allow her to watch her Indian movies too. He bought a home theater system for her. Whatever she asked for, he brought for her. Whatever kind of food she wanted to eat, he provided it. The only thing he refused to allow her to do was to go out of the house. Although he treats her like a queen, the Indian girl does not love the evil old geezer. She always felt great relief whenever he went away for a few weeks. She hates sex with him. Sex for her always means pain and torture. Therefore, the pedophile has made her hate sex with any man. She hates the nights because they always remind her of her first year with him in Asmara, when he first started to rape her. For 8 years onwards, the old man continually and repeatedly raped Iffat. She, bound by her circumstances, simply resigned herself to the fact that she was going to be under his control forever. He made her believe that her Indian mother had died. He repeatedly and time and again told her that her mother, Rehana Khan, was arrested and sentenced to death by the Sharia court in Jeddah city because she committed heinous crimes. Iffat never tried to run away from the old man. There was nowhere to go. She had no money and also no idea how to buy an air ticket to fly back to India, where she knows that she has small brothers and old grandmother in Bombay city. In any case, her Indian passport is locked inside a secure safe, and the keys are always with the old man. So Iffat accepted her kismet or a destiny in life, which she believed that had been destined by Allah in her life, and whatever little entertainment she is getting in the mansion of the terror of old man is enough for her. She loves to watch Indian movies because she understands Hindi. She speaks 3 languages: Urdu, Hindi, and Persian. She had learned Persian from her maid servants who were living with her in the house. Though being bilingual, she can neither read nor write any of these languages. The old man did not provide her with tutors to teach her reading and writing. Education for females is not in his vocabulary or in his future agenda. He decided to keep her illiterate like his other dumb Arab wives. He's scared that education may make her well informed of the outside world and therefore she may run away from him. The imprisoned Indian child wife Iffat Khan spent 7 years in Tehran imprisoned in the palace-like house of the old Saudi man. Her daily life varies little except when he travels to another country. Whenever he goes on his business trips or visits his other wives in Saudi Arabia, she will be completely free from his unpleasant presence. Whenever he is back home, he will ask her to massage his body. For the old geezer, she is a massage girl during the day and is female sex slave in bed at night. Sex with him is the worst thing for her. By this time, the crazy Qais, the sugar daddy, has forgotten about his lovely Indian beloved Layla. If Rehana miraculously escaped from her looming stoning sentence or resurrected from her grave in Saudi Arabia and came to his palace in Tehran city, he would order his Afghani guard to shoot her and kill her. He concluded the so-called dirty professional Indian prostitute had been stoned to death, and his mad love for her had been buried with her in her grave forever. He thanked Allah that he had rewarded him by giving him her little daughter Iffat as an everlasting underage child bride. He wishes that his child wife would remain his child bride forever. He believes that he loves her now more than he loved her bad mother, who cheated on him and married 3 men at the same time. At least the little Ifat was a virgin when he married her and did not have an open pussy like her dirty mother. That is how the notorious womanizer and the dirty pedophile Arab man had interpreted the sad events that happened to those 2 women, the mother who is unjustly imprisoned and condemned to be killed through stoning, and her kidnapped, raped, and detained daughter. During those 7 years in Tehran, in Iran, the old man had never spent more than 4 weeks far away from his underage Indian wife. However, his last overseas trip was prolonged beyond his usual schedule until the Iranian maidservants began to complain to her about their monthly payments. The old man went on a business trip to Pakistan and has not come back for many weeks. Ifat has no money, nor does she know where the old man is hiding his money. Whenever the old man returned from his abroad trips, it was he who used to pay the Iranian maid servants and the Afghani security guard their wages. So she told the Iranian woman that she had no money to pay their dues. The maid servant asked her to contact his wives in Saudi Arabia to find out whether he was still alive or if he was dead. If he is still alive, ask them what is delaying his return. Ifat told them that she had no phone number for any of the 3 wives of her Saudi husband. After 3 months had passed, the Iranian maidservant began to quarrel with Ifat. They have concluded that the old geezer is dead and buried by the Pakistanis. They asked Ifat to sell some of her gold and use the money to pay them for 3 months that were due. They said that they want to go and seek another employment. Ifat feared that the angry Iranian woman might gang against her and kill her, steal all her expensive jewelry, and run away. To avoid that situation, she agreed to sell some of her gold and pay their 3 months' dues. The maidservant tried to convince the security guard to allow Ifat to go to the main market to sell some of her gold. The security guard refused to listen to them. He said that he would shoot any one of the 3 women if they tried to help the small wife Ifat go out of the house or run away. He is the only one at this point who remained loyal to his Arab master. After giving it some thought, Ifat settled the problem with the Iranian maidservant by giving each one of them some of her expensive clothes and a small piece of her costly ornaments. The 3 Iranian women took what the Indian wife gave them and quit their jobs and disappeared from her mansion forever. Chapter 20. The imprisoned underage wife is back in her motherland. After her Iranian maidservant have deserted her, Ifat is forced to do everything by herself. She is not used to any kind of manual labor. Out of necessity, she began washing her clothes and cooking her meals. She struggled with her chores and worried about her dwindling store of food. She has no money and knows that the stalwart security guard is taking his job seriously. He will never allow her to go out of the house, even if she has to starve to death or die of serious illness. She is also under the impression that the old man has died. He tried many times to convince the security guard to allow her to go to the main market to sell some of her gold and buy groceries and other things, but he always refused. Finally, after 4 months passed, a letter arrived in the mailbox which had been sent to her. It is written in Arabic. When that mysterious letter arrived, she succeeded in convincing the security guard to allow her to find someone to read it for her and translate what was written in it. The security man told her that he was going to the main market to find an Arabic translator and bring him to her. He locked her up in her bedroom with a big padlock. Then he kept the key in his pocket, went to the market, and brought a translator. He's an Iranian translator who can speak, read, and write in Arabic. Through the translator, the first Indian wife has come to know that the letter had been written and sent to her by the old monastir himself. He stated that he is held up against his wishes in a jail in India. He claimed that he is falsely accused of kidnapping and raping an underage young Indian girl and being thrown inside a filthy prison in Bombay City. In his letter, the old Saudi man ordered his first wife, Iffat Khan, to come to India and appoint a good Muslim lawyer for him. He wanted her to sell some of her jewelry, purchase an air ticket, and come to Bombay as soon as possible. But then he strictly mentioned that she should not come alone. His good Afghani security guard, who has faithfully served him for 7 years, should come along with her, and she is to buy his air ticket too. The Arabic translator read the letter in front of the Afghani security guard, and after hearing the contents of the letter, the guard finally allowed the 7-year-old imprisoned wife to come out of allowed the 7 years imprisoned wife to come out of her dungeon of gold. He accompanied her to the main market, concealing his loaded rifle in his robe. He forwarded her before he allowed her to step out of the house that if she tried to run away at any time, he would not hesitate to shoot her in the head and kill her in front of the people. In his letter, the old man also informed his confined Indian underage wife how and where she could find the key to the safe holding her Indian passport. The Afghani security guard has a valid Iranian passport. After selling some jewelry and obtaining enough money, the security guard took Iffat to the Indian consulate and applied for his visiting visa to Bombay. His visa had been issued after a week. After that, he took her with him to the Iranian airline office in downtown Tehran and made her purchase their air tickets, booking their flight to Bombay. Although by now she is a little over 18 years old, 18 years of age, still Iffat is like a female child of 7 years of age who needs someone to tell her what to do and how to do it. It seemed she had grown up physically, but mentally, she remained trapped in the mind of a female child of 7. She has no experience of the outside world at all. For 10 years, she had been imprisoned like a small, beautiful, colorful bird inside a gilded cage and denied access to any form of social interaction with the outside world, either in Eritrea or Iran. The Afghani terrorists led her from place to place and made her do all what he wanted her to do. He scared her with the gun, which he always kept hidden inside his clothes. It took a month before Iffat and the Afghani man flew from Tehran to Bombay. People who saw the Afghani with Iffat naturally assumed him to be her grandfather. Afghani woman looked like Iranian woman, and Afghani woman looked like Indian woman, and Indians believed that Afghanistan was part of the subcontinent of India before the Arabs invaded it and brought their accursed Islamic religion and forced it on the Hindus. There is strong evidence which proves that the Hindu sacred book, which is called Rig Veda, was created in Afghanistan. Rig Veda is one of the 4 sacred religious books of Hinduism known as the Holy Vedas. The Taliban terrorist knew that he could not pass his gun through the checkpoint at the Tehran International Airport, so he left it behind. However, he managed to convince the Indian wife, Iffat Khan, that he had somehow managed to smuggle it inside with him. The scared girl Iffat followed him inside the airport with the docility of a female prisoner following her guard. She would not even contemplate using the toilet without his express permission. When she told him she wanted to go to the lavatory, he allowed her to go, but he went with her, waiting outside the lavatory. Some of the flying crew and passengers noticed the behavior of the Afghani man and the beautiful teenage girl who was traveling with him, but they thought that as a fanatic Muslim man, the old man was simply protecting his granddaughter from being teased or harassed. Who would have guessed the truth? So they left them be without raising any flag of suspicion. None of them knew that the dangerous Afghani terrorist and his young Indian female captive, the product of 10 years of captivity, brutal rape, cruel beatings, and abduction. Upon arrival at the Mumbai Chhatrapati Shivaji International Airport, anti-terrorist police routinely went through every passenger manifest and found that one of the Iranian airline planes was carrying one Bismillah Ali Mujahid, a Taliban terrorist. The Bombay International Airport police did not identify him through his face or a fake Iranian nationality and name. His Afghani passport carried the name Mustafa Shakir Hussain, but through his passport photo, which matched a computer photo list, and his name has been tagged. His name was flagged many years ago. The Indian police took him to a checkpoint room and fingerprinted him. Computers matched his prints to Bismillah Ali Mujahid, an escapee terrorist. He has been arrested immediately, handed over to the anti-terrorist police, and transferred to a maximum security jail in Mumbai city. The international airport police authority did not know that the beautiful teenage Indian girl Iffat Khan had come with him. She is, after all, an Indian with a valid passport, and he is an Iranian man, and there is nothing to indicate that he is related to him in any way. The Indian inexperienced wife Iffat does not know that her captor has been arrested until she asks some of the Indian passengers who came with her on the same plane. She is told that her grandfather has been placed under arrest by the Bombay International Airport police. The passengers are surprised When they see Iffat simply turn her back and walk away. She does not want to be arrested by that with that dangerous terrorist man who filled her heart with dread and panic for so many years. When the beautiful teenage girl Iffat Khan comes out of the arrival area of Mumbai International Airport, she does not know what to do or where to go. Although she is free from her captor, she is still controlled by fear of the Saudi old man. She is scared that if she does not go to him at the jail and do what he wants her to do for him, he may send some of his dangerous men to search for her and kill her. For 10 years, he had frightened her and made her feel as if he was a ferocious beast and she was helpless, a small prey in his claws. He had made her believe from the age of 7 that if she tried to run away from him, he would send some of his dangerous gangsters to find her and slaughter her. So, heeding her instincts, she took a taxi, asked the driver to take her to Arsa Road Jail. The address of the men's jail in Mumbai has been mentioned in the Arabic letter he had sent to her. This is the name and address of the Indian dirty dungeon where the 5 breathing this is the name and address of the Indian dirty dungeon where the fair breathing dragon is at present and has been kept imprisoned under lock and key. This is the second time that the old geezer has been arrested and jailed in India. The first time was 10 years ago when he was held up in an alleged terrorist plot and was almost beaten to death by the dreadful Hindu police inspector Shankaracharya, who used to hate Muslims more than he hated Satan and all his demons. While the taxi is driving through the busy city, the Indian wife Iffat Khan is shocked to see the huge crowds of people. She wonders how those masses of people, who are more in numbers than flies and mosquitoes, could have enough food to eat. Her memory of Bombay had grown dim over the years, and she could only remember little glimpses of her hut in the slum of Dharavi. She was 7 years old when her mother took her from her small hut and flew her to Saudi Arabia. She remembered that she used to sleep on the ground with her 5 small brothers. Her memory also recollected the little food she used to eat. She compared her poor and miserable life when she was a child and the rich and comfortable life she is living with the old man. Reflecting, she wished that she could have continued that miserable life in India. Asmara and Tehran, with all the trappings of wealth, held no attraction for her because of the tyranny of the evil, all pedophile who kidnapped, raped, and imprisoned her for 10 horrifying years in 2 mansions of terror. It was 12:50 p.m. when the taxi dropped Iffat Khan off at the main gate of the Arsa Road Jail. When she was asked to fill in a visiting form, she told the jail guard that she did not know how to read and write. One of the guards asked her to give him some money if she wanted him to help her fill in the form, and Iffat gave him $100 note. The Indian man felt as if she had given him a treasure. His monthly salary is 3,000 rupees. What the foreign girl Ifad has given him is the equivalent of 7,000 Indian rupees, and if he exchange it on the black market, he might get 8,000 rupees. It is more than he received in 2 months. He asked her to come into his office and sit on a chair, and then he ordered a cold drink for her, for the rich foreign girl. After she finished her drink, the guard asked her the questions in the form and filled it in for her. He conversed with her in Hindi, and from her he came to know that she was an 18-year-old Muslim girl who had just arrived today in Bombay from Tehran in Iran. Then the Hindu guard personally took the rich Muslima girl to a small room where she could meet the aged Arab detainee Sheikh Faiz Bani Ahmed.